comes one of them now.
So let's get Lloyd up here to say a few words. This is his company. He is the You have fun. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a lot of genre greats, fright favorites in the audience tonight. And so what I'd like to do is introduce you to them all. If you are a guest, and there's a lot to mention, so I'm not going to name each one. But if you are a guest at Texas Frightmare Weekend, would you please stand up so that we can recognize you and thank you for attending. Thank you. It starts, as Greg said, tomorrow, Friday at 5 p.m. You're all invited. Last Saturday and Sunday, it's at the TFW Hilton Lakes Hotel, and that's in Grapevine. There's someone else that I would like to introduce you to tonight that has been very instrumental in putting together this event, as well as a tour that will travel around the world with the cast of the Night of the Living Dead. I would like to introduce you tonight to Mr. Chris Rowe.
So, thank you. So, it's amazing because it was 7 months ago that I was driving down the 101 in Los Angeles, and I had this idea to do a 40th anniversary tour. And I called Lloyd, and I said, I got this idea. You got to do this, and we got to get AFI involved. And he jumped right on board. And AFI very enthusiastically jumped on board. And I was particularly pleased because often, as I'm sure you all know, horror gets the shaft. It just always does. And AFI acknowledges that this movie was a groundbreaking movie. It's an amazing movie. And it speaks for itself. It's still just as popular today as it was 40 years ago. So I want to truly thank Lloyd, his entire staff of people, for everything that they've done. I want to thank AFI. They're an amazing institution. So I want to thank Michael Kane, Greg Brown, John Wildwood, everyone from AFI for everything that they've done, because we couldn't have done it without you. We've been talking about it for a long time. We're playing a lot of fun things, but we've done it. Lastly, I want to thank the Night of the Living Dead cast. It's not often that you really get to do something that you truly enjoy, and you really enjoy it. And working with George and the entire cast has been a beautiful experience. I thank you for having the faith in me and believing in me and trusting me. And trust is an important thing. And I appreciate it. So thank you. And to all of you who flew in early, Dee Wallace and Scotty Reiniger and Harvey Stevens from London, Little Alley, all of you, thank you for coming and being supportive. Thank you. And now I want to introduce someone who I've become extremely good friends with. I'm proud to call him my friend, Mr. Malcolm McDowell.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much. My name is Malcolm McDowell. I didn't realize Michael Caine was here tonight. Is Michael here? My name is Michael Caine. Is he here? Oh, he's not here. Sorry. People keep mentioning Michael Caine. That's all. It's rather confusing for an Englishman. Anyway, we have to thank the AFI, of course. Chris is, of course, and Frightmare, Texas Frightmare Weekend. It's going to be a hell of a weekend! But tonight, I have the honor and the privilege of introducing the cast of this wonderful film that was made 40 years ago, Night of the Living Dead. Now, this tiny budgeted film where most of the people in it did other things like they lit the thing, they did the sound, they did everything. It was like one of those Judy Garland movies, you know. It was almost like that, but I don't know what the budget was. I don't know. It was about $155, I think. So who would have thought? It doesn't really matter, does it? Art is art. And when you have a director like George Romero at the helm, then you know things are going to happen. And George is one of those great directors who transformed and moved on the art form of horror film. And it is an art form. And George really is a pioneer of it. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce, I'm going to read them out, and I'll read the names and then you can all stand up and get your round of applause. Okay? That's probably the easier way to do it. Judy O'Day. And actually, there was one member of the cast missing. Apparently there was a lot of alcohol served last night. I hear that the chandelier in the hotel in the lobby was a squiff this morning. So Marilyn Eastman, I'm sorry to say, broke a rib. I'm sorry to say, actually that's serious. She did, she tripped. She wants nothing to do with alcohol, I'm just making it up. So we send all our love and our best wishes. She's back at the hotel. And, the painkillers should be working beautifully now. Anyway, I would like to introduce my friend, the master himself, the man who is at least 6'3", George Romero.
Thanks to the AFI, boy, it's great to see you again, Malcolm. I can't believe you came out to do this.
I can't believe myself.
And all of my friends that have worked in all the films, I think there's somebody here from each one of the zombie films. So you'll get to meet those guys. Where? Should I plug it again? Great to see old friends, and great to be here. Thanks for coming out. I only question your talking about these films as if they were art. Greg Nicotero and Savini and those guys are here. And all these guys, and I can't list everybody by name. I need to have a typewritten list. There's so many friends that came out here tonight, and it's great to see you all. And hopefully we'll have a little chance to hang out, and hopefully you folks will get a chance to say hi to them all. Thanks a million, and we're going to be here after the screening, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and we'll talk about things.
You're able to drink that and watch it at home, but you can't watch it like that. We were talking earlier about the legacy and tradition of film, and certainly the American Film Institute and proudly AFI Dallas, we do support the legacy and tradition of film. You know, not only is this a great horror film, if you look back, it's actually one of the first independent films ever really made, and we celebrate independent film at the festival, and so we're glad to be here tonight. So, you know, it's a very small token of our appreciation, but we do have something for everyone, and I'm not going to talk anymore. We're going to get them up here one by one so that we can get some Q&A going. So, we've got certificates for everyone. This commemorative certificate is given with appreciation to, here's the names I know, on the occasion of the 40th anniversary screening of Night of the Living Dead, February 21st, 2008, landmark Inwood Theater, Dallas, Texas, AFI Dallas International Film Festival, and Texas Frightmare Weekend. So let's get them up here. Ladies and gentlemen, Judith O'Day. Here he is, Russ Striner. Mr. John Russo. Kyla Schoen. Keep clapping, she has the roof on. Keep going. Bill Hitzman. The other George Fasana. And to the gentleman who started this all 40 years ago and keeps amazing us with zombie and other movies, Mr. George A. Romero.
Thank you. I just met Scotty here. I didn't know he was here. I had to stop and say hi. Thank you so much.
And Mr. Malcolm McDowell, we need you up here so that we can start asking some questions.
That's when I did my first movie, incidentally.
So you were working in documentaries, doing commercials and things. How did it all start, George?
These guys could probably...
Here.
These guys could probably answer it better than me. We had a little commercial production company, and we were doing beer commercials, industrial films. We had cameras and lights, and Carl Hardman, rest his soul. And poor Marilyn, I mean, neither of them are here. Marilyn, I think I'm baby.
Try this one.
Marilyn had a bad fall, and aside from the character she played, we still feel sorry for her. And we all got together and made a movie. I mean, that's really what it was. They had audio equipment, we had video equipment, and that's pretty much the way it was. And we said, let's make a movie. And 10 of us got together and said, sure. And that's what started it. And I still can't believe that. I can't believe we're all standing together here. I can't believe we're all still standing.
When George's film Land of the Dead opened in West Hollywood or West LA, we saw the film. I came up, gave him a big hug, and here this big fella says to me in my ear, "Did we ever imagine?" We didn't. None of us imagined, did we?
Not at all. Not at all. We thought we were pushing the envelope a little bit. We were going to make a little horror film. Judy agreed to do it. Dwayne, rest his soul. Agreed to do it, and we didn't understand all of those implications, I don't think. Except when he had to slug you. He said when the day came when he had to punch Judy, he said, you know what's going to happen to me when I walk out of this theater? He was much more sensitive to it than any of us were, I think, because we were just saying, hey man, we're all 60. You don't have to worry about that shit anymore. Sorry, Phil. I'm going to use profanity once in a while. There's a young fella here, I hope he doesn't mind. I don't think any of us were completely aware of what an impact that would have. Dwayne playing that role. I mean, we literally finished the film. In those days, there were laboratories in cities the size of Pittsburgh because the news was on film. There was no such thing as videotape, so the news was on film. So there were film labs, and we finished this movie and threw it in the trunk of a car, and we're driving it to New York. And in the car that night on the radio, it was me and Russ, we heard that Martin Luther King had been shot. And, so a lot of the credit that we get for, being this big racial statement was to some extent, to that extent anyway, accidental. But we cared about what we were doing. I mean, we tried to make a movie that pushed the envelope a little bit, and we were trying to make our good movie that would be, a little bit of a thrill ride. And, we cared about it, but it's funny, man. I mean, I confess, when we heard that news on the car, me and Russ are going, this might be good for us, man.
So when it opened, George, what were the reviews like? Do you remember?
Oh, the reviews were hideous. I mean, raked over the coals. I mean, completely raked over the coals. And Roger Ebert was the guy. I mean, and actually, what Roger did was he wrote this scathing review about it and said they should. All these little kids were. He apparently had gone to see it when it was on a double bill with Beast from 20,000 Fathoms or some sort of benign horror thing. And he said these kids were screaming out of the theater, calling for their mothers, and all we could say is we didn't make it for kids, you know. This guy's been haunting me. I'm sorry, I have to do that little aside. I love this guy. And we didn't, that wasn't why we made it. But Roger's review caused Night of the Living Dead to be one of the films that was cited, one of 3 films that was cited as the reason we need a regulatory committee. So maybe, in part, we're responsible for, at least to that extent, for the FDA.
Now, if I can interject one comment, Roger Ebert, as George said, Roger Ebert and Variety magazine, Variety newspaper, gave Night of the Living Dead perhaps the worst review ever of any film. Curiously, however, years later, when Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel, who started off in Chicago with their movie review show on PBS, they called us years later and asked us if we would agree to have Night of the Living Dead on their premiere show so they could reevaluate the movie. So they did eventually make right by Night of the Living Dead. We'll probably be around 40 years though.
Yeah, well, let's hope we're all there for his 40th. So you must all be millionaires today, right? 40 years, this thing plays everywhere. I mean, how do you guys spend all this money?
It's really tough.
So has it not gone into profit yet? Is it one of these Hollywood stories that, after 40 years, it's still not made a profit? I know it cost all of $100,000 to make, right?
I mean, our title, I never thought of these things as zombies in the first film, because to me the zombies were and boys in the Caribbean doing the wet work for Lugosi. And so we called them flesh eaters or ghouls, and we never thought of them as zombies. And then it was only later when the film started to get written about. The French initiated this. It was me and Jerry Lewis there for a while, running neck and neck. I never thought of them as zombies.
I heard a lot of groans when George mentioned the copyright. It was a technical flaw. However, there is a reasonable chance, and we may one of these days ask for your help, through Congress, through the House of Representatives, and through the U.S. Senate. We are petitioning Senator Arlen Specter, who is on the Judiciary Committee in the Senate.
All right, no jokes.
Is this a joke?
It won't be a joke. I mean, it's funny, but it's funny now looking back at it. But one thing was that we were totally fanatical about making movies, and we started doing commercials, but those dreams must have seemed to most people looking at us in those days very far out of reach. And I think the first or second time I came to this little studio that Russ and George had, they had a pet monkey and a pet owl, and the owl had a broken leg. I'm sorry. And Rudy Ritchie, one of our
Heinzman gave me this owl.
And they barely had enough money to eat most of the time, but they're keeping this monkey and this owl, and they're paying veterinarian bills that very often send the company into the red. And one day we looked through the check stubs, and you'd see $25 monkey, $35 owl. So anyway, I get drafted into the Army. I went to West Virginia University. West Virginia got drafted, so Rudy Ritchie comes in this 55 Plymouth convertible all beat up. And he said,
Cool looking.
yeah, we have to go down to Late Image, that's the name of the company. We have to go down to Late Image, and we have to bring food and drink because George and Russ haven't eaten for 3 days. So Rudy popped a bag of popcorn and grabbed a 6-pack of Pepsi. And we went down there, and George and Russ were playing hockey, a hockey game where you...
I will tell you a story after Jack.
So anyway, so they fed all the popcorn to the monkey, drank the Pepsi, and told me that when I got out of the Army, I could come and work with them. Well, that dream stayed in my mind through the whole time in the Army. I wanted to get back and do that so badly, and I did get out, and I started teaching school.
Get out alive.
And George said, come and work with us. And I did. Gave up teaching, went in the film business, and starred for a few more years until we made Night of the Living Dead.
Wait, you're still doing it, man.
Yeah, still starring.
No. The weird thing, we rented this place on the south side of Pittsburgh. None of the address doesn't mean anything. We rented this little storefront, and it literally was initially a storefront, so it had a big window, and we called it the Lake Image. This is cool. And Russ and I would live in this place. I mean, literally chipping ice out of the toilet bowl to wash our faces because there was no sink. And it was me and Russ living there. And we went down one day to a local department store, and we bought this hockey game. I mean, it was like, one of those things where you turn the players and you hit the puck. When we played it, people could see us because there was this big thing. So people started to show up and bet.
And with the title plastered in huge block letters across the front of the building, the latent image, no one knew what we did. Some people thought we were a beauty salon. Then they would see us playing hockey. They would take bets as the bus went by. We found out later that as the bus went by, they would take bets as to what we actually did there.
And this was in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, this is the God's truth. It's me and Russ in an exciting town.
Incidentally,
it's hard to find excitement. This is when the Steelers were really losing.
Incidentally, the aisle and the monkey, well, the monkey started taking up anybody walked by the cage, he'd just take a whiz on them. And I wound up taking the monkey home and the aisle home. And the monkey did the same thing when I took it to my mother and gave it to my mother. So we get
what he means is the monkey would... Go ahead.
People thought that it was a religion too, latent image. Some people
They didn't know what it was. They had
one
no idea.
day,
They thought it was some sort of,
by the time I got out of the Army, George and Russ had gotten a loan from a regional development corporation.
We're going way back
to a different place.
Sorry, I don't know.
So they were,
I don't know if any of this is interesting.
they ordered new carpet, so the carpet company called up and said, may I speak to Miss Image Latent? We joked about that for about a year.
All that monkey ever did to me, man, was grab onto the cage, hands and legs, and piss in my face. I have nothing to say after this. This is one of the most interesting question and answers I've ever attended. And I've attended a few. I mean, we're talking art here. I've been to the Kubrick retrospectives, Lindsay Anderson, Hitchcock's, the whole damn thing. Nothing as good as this.
One of the early
Secretly, he's going, how did I get involved in this?
One of the early commercial jobs we had was for a bona fide scientific operation called the Buell Planetarium. and it's still in existence today as part of the Science Center, Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh. They hired us to have a miniature rocket ship land on the moon. No other production company in Pittsburgh would touch this job with a long stick, except George and I, because we knew no better. We took the job on, and another one of the Ritchie family, Mark Ritchie, was an amateur rocketeer. He launched rockets. So he knew how to make small batch solid rocket fuel. He cautioned George and me. We decided that Mark wasn't available one day, but we needed to cook up a batch of rocket fuel. He gave us the recipe. And he cautioned us, don't let it get too brown as you're heating this concoction on our hot plate. The admonishment was, don't let it get too brown. So we're stirring away. This is in the very back room of our 3-room storefront. And George screams, I think it's getting too brown. We ran out of the room. I ran first. George was second.
I turned the camera on.
We literally filled the 1800 block of East Carson Street in Pittsburgh was filled with this acrid, dense, black smoke to the point where the fire department came, and then we had to explain, we were just cooking up some rocket fuel.
It's the old thing, we're shooting a movie. Oh, yeah.
Did you ever make the commercial?
Oh, yeah. And it was highly successful to the point we filmed it in 16 millimeter. It was eventually blown up to 35 millimeter and played as a promotional piece for the Carnegie Science Center all over the area in theaters.
Nobody knew.
$1,600.
Yeah.
Wow. Where did the title come from? Because I think it's one of the greatest titles of all time. Night of the Living Dead.
We had nothing to do with it, Malcolm. I mean, it was like,
Well, of course not! Why ask a silly question?
So,
Tell us the story, George.
we had nothing to do with it. Our title was Night of the Flesh Eaters. We went through a bunch of sort of highbrow titles, Night of Anubis, and then we wound up with Night of the Flesh Eaters. And when we literally brought it to New York to see if anybody wanted to project it, somebody said, oh, there's a movie called The Flesh Eaters. We can't use The Flesh Eaters. So that was Walter Reed's title, and they finally picked the film. It was their title, and that's how we lost the copyright, because stupidly, we put the little C around it on our title, Night of the Flesh Eaters. And when they changed the title, it came off. And it took 3 years for them to notice, us to notice. They should have noticed. We didn't get it. I mean, and after those 3 years, everybody realized the film was in public domain, so you can show it at, do whatever you want with it, actually.
Wow. That's
the one that got away.
yeah. Yeah, well.
We're still not sure to this day whether that was an accidental oversight or on purpose.
And what does your gut tell you?
My gut feeling tells
Total
me
theft,
that
right?
it was on purpose accident.
These accidents, they don't happen like that. I mean, come on.
Why would they do that? It was to their benefit, too. I don't know. We've never had this discussion. I don't think this is the time.